Alright, looks like we're live. So, in some of my past videos, there's been a good amount of interference, and you've been hearing this static that's kind of a harmonic along with my voice. So I picked up another one of these Sennheiser Evolution Wireless G3 EW122 sets, so it comes with a transmitter and a receiver. I just wanted to... I got the original receiver for free. Somebody actually sent me a used one, and it was a really nice Sennheiser set, and I wanted to say thank you very much for that because it's made the last year and a half of doing videos so much easier. I really appreciate it. I wanted to keep doing videos, and I just don't have the time to troubleshoot which is which, so I figured I would just buy this thing, and we're going to see how it works with this video. I'm not going to turn the AC off. You are going to hear AC noise because if you saw what the weather was like in New York City, trying to do this stuff without an air conditioner is suicide. So you're going to still hear the noise of the AC, but at the very least, I'm hoping you don't hear all that ridiculous static. So, there were some times where there was clicks and pops, and that was caused by computer issues, but this is very clearly my capsule not getting the power it needs or something like that. So with any luck, that is all set. Okay. So let's get started. So today we've got an 820-3476 board, and it looks like it has been fucked with to hell and back. So let's just make sure that all is working here. What frequency do they use? Wouldn't you like to know what frequency that my wireless mic setup uses? Wouldn't you like to know? Nice try. No, so we're just going to switch over here and see what we get. All right. And of course, as I start streaming, I've got this always on top program that allows me to take certain windows and make them always on top. But every time I have that program on, it manages to do this thing where it destroys my keyboard just won't work for 10 minutes at a time. And go figure, it started when I started streaming. So the first thing that we have here, as you can see, is a JTAG connector. And it looks like the corrosion on the JTAG has already been cleaned by whoever was here before me. They beat me to it. We don't get it twisted. That JTAG is still going to get knocked off the board without mercy. We show no mercy for JTAGs here. That's never going to change. However, we are going to continue on and see what this board looks like. So if we were to turn this over, you'll see that in this area of the board, it looks like complete shit. And this is the area right under the CPU, and the PCH on this board is integrated into the CPU. You can also see there's an area here where it looks like a resistor, which is cold knocked off the board by somebody who didn't really like it very much. That's very mean. You can see that I'm not sure if there was once a chip here or not, but whether or not there was, you can see that there's a signal line over here. I don't know what this is for, or if it's going to anything, but that probe point is just gone. The U1950 area, which is famous for just getting destroyed on the 2013 through 15 errors and retinas for the PM PCH power OK signal here, seems to have a little bit of corrosion. However, the PP3V42 pin is still connected to the PP3V42 rail. You can see that there wasn't too much damage there, so I have some faith that that may be usable. So this is not total garbage. This is not total garbage, but it is pretty fucked up, and this sucks. I mean, let's just be honest. We don't get to see the original corrosion, and even if we did, it probably would be even more depressing than this. So the first thing that I would do is, before we even get into what is corroded, I'm more interested in what's missing, because what's corroded may still work, whereas what is missing is a guarantee to not work. So anytime you're working behind somebody else, you're always going to want to focus on what is missing first, and then what is corroded later. Because remember, you can always figure what's corroded may still work, but what is missing is just gone. So let's open up the schematic and the board view here and see what it is we get. And let's see, let me just make sure that my stream here is actually going. So it looks like on YouTube it is. I raised the bitrate a little bit, so I don't know if Twitch is going to like that. Twitch is probably going to complain. Twitch doesn't like when you raise the bitrate. Since I'm using the CPU encoder to record ProRes so that I can edit it for the other channel, I am using the GPU encoder to stream. Because when I use the GPU encoder, I can only record to X264, which Vegas just hates editing in high bitrate. So let's see. Yeah, there we go. So Twitch is dealing with it. I know you're not supposed to stream at a high bitrate, but seeing as Twitch makes money off of the ads they play on my videos, and I don't make money off the ads Twitch plays on my videos, if they don't like it, they can suck it. So, let me just drink some water, and then we'll get started on today's beautiful board. fluoride. Alex Jones would be disappointed. So, what is that corroded resistor for? Well, one way to find out. What we're missing is this resistor over here. And if we look on the schematic and the board view, and we click, that is for PM sleep SOL. That is going to be a pull-up where R1463 takes the 3.3 volt rail and creates PM sleep SOL. R1463. Let's see, where are you? So you look important. You look very important. So the first thing I'm going to do is put that back on. Let's put that back on. So let's create some pads here, shall we? We need some pads. We need some pads. Someone asks, I saw on eBay of a board repair shop that will put a 2015 GPU on an early 2011 MacBook Pro. Is that even possible? Oh, they're claiming that they have newer revisions of the chips, which I would probably call bullshit on. Either they don't, or maybe they think they do, but they don't, or... It really is a crapshoot, because one thing you always have to remember is that we don't have access to AMD or Intel or NVIDIA or Intersil or any of these companies directly. We have access to people who claim to have access to them, who will often sell us some pile of garbage. And you never really know. So I'm very skeptical. I had to refund 2 GPUs today. They were slightly out of warranty, but I can't like do the 3-month thing and say, oh, it's day 93, so nothing. So, hey, it looks like we may actually be missing something over here as well. Let's take a look at that and see if we are missing something over there. Let's see, so what is this? Yeah, so fuck GPU repairs. They're such a waste of time. Okay, so there's an I2C line that's supposed to have a pull-up resistor, as you can see here. And it looks like this pull-up resistor is missing for this I2C line. So it looked like somebody decided to clean this board with some sandpaper and boxing gloves and just decided to rip a bunch of shit off. So before we even get to what's corroded, let's just reattach the things that should be there. Yeah, we don't have access to a lot in this business, and that's one of the points that's frustrated me on it. And I'm not saying that I hate repair. I'm just saying that one of the reasons that I wouldn't mind retiring from it in my early 30s is you get to a point in life where you just don't want to feel like you're... you just don't want to feel like... how do I put this? You don't want to feel like a kid that's like hiding shit from the teacher anymore, and you kind of feel like that in this business. Like I mean, and it really became obvious last year. You know, after I got contacted by that law firm because I dared to do videos including a schematic and showing a fuse in them. It becomes really obvious that you always feel like you're the kid trying to steal cookies from the cookie jar. You know, I'd like to just grow up and be able to buy my own cookies if I like cookies and not have somebody yell at me for eating them. And the same goes for your job. So, I mean, it would be nice if in this business I could actually buy graphics chips that worked from the manufacturer or from some broker of the manufacturer, or if I'm willing to spend $100,000 on chips that somebody would wholesale them to me, even if it's with no warranty, just knowing that they came directly from AMD, but you can't, from their good pile, but you can't do that. And that's one of the parts that pisses me off about this business. Did you see the article, Legit News for Once, where people flushing birth control down the toilet is turning fish transgender? That doesn't sound super legit to me. I have not looked into it, so I will not comment, but something about that gives me a little bit of skepticism. Call me nuts. Yeah. That sounds like some 4chan level bullshit. Alright. What are you doing tomorrow? I'm fixing stuff. What do you think? Tomorrow is actually going to be the 3-year anniversary of me getting board views to go with the schematics. So that's going to be cool. And I will celebrate it probably by streaming board repair. Alright, so we're going to... Now what I did is I scraped away. I had originally scraped away a little bit. Then I had used the Q-tip and alcohol to clean off the debris. I added flux, and now I'm creating new solder pads there. So you see what I did? Some nice new solder pads. And we are going to do something similar up here where I believe a resistor is missing. So we have flux, now some gentle back and forth scraping on each pad, and now we have a place that we can add a resistor. The cost for the GPU repair to the 2015 model is under $200. Might roll the dice and get it fixed. As long as you get the 6-month ability to file a PayPal claim. So make sure you pay with PayPal, and make sure that you can file a claim within the 6 months. Because I'm telling you, again, I have a heart. I have a heart. I'm gonna tell that guy who's outside of warranty, I'm refunding him for his GPU because this piece of shit GPU that I got from that piece of shit AliExpress seller failed. But not everybody's me, you know. There are people that are gonna say you're a day out of warranty, suck a dick. There are lots of people that'll say you're a day out of warranty, suck a dick. So just be careful, because that machine is a real piece of shit. I'm telling you. Very few repair people are going to be honest with you to the extent that I am, because they want to retire earlier than I do. But I'll tell you, something's gonna break a gun, or I know that it's a bad idea. I will be honest with you and tell you, for fuck's sake, don't do it. Okay, that's a real news article about contraceptive pills turning fish transgender. Whoa. Okay, I'll add that to my reading list for later. Definitely wasn't expecting that to show up in my chat today. But you never know. There's always room to surprise me. Okay, what's this? Looks like we have a resistor over here. This resistor looks like it's been broken off. So let's go through that. And it looks like wherever that resistor was going is gone. Alright, so what is that? So, so that's a PP3V42 pulling up charger V-Freak. Alright, that's fine. We can grab PP3V42 from something else. Ain't no big deal. Except for the fact that my donor board is missing every fucking resistor in that area. Okay, let's grab another one. Why do people flush condoms down the toilet? Like, how smooth-brained is our population that that's a thing? Seriously. Another one's missing that resistor. You gotta be kidding me. Finally, here we go. Now remember, that's no good. That's no good because it needs PP3V42 on the top. So we have to find our nearest PP3V42 point and bring a wire there, which is going to be up here by this little capacitor that we are going to make great again. Okay, capacitor just needed a little TLC. Yeah, what a pretty looking capacitor. What a pretty little capacitor. All right. Da-da-da-da. Fucker. Oy. Let's turn this around so that it's easier. Ooh, so I'm near the shop. Do you want to take a break and go get a green tea? No, because I don't know who the fuck you are. Let's see. Did you see the motherboard story about the weirdest iPhone repair some shops have had to deal with? One had to deal with a phone with a screen protector that was sold as making it bulletproof. I find this difficult to believe. Citation needed. Motherboard is a subsidiary of Vice, so multiple citations needed before I buy that. That resistor looks like shit. Let's see. I believe I took a resistor off of a donor board that was actually ripped. That's what this looks like here. Yeah, that's a broken resistor. That is as broken as it can get. Alright, let's try that again. Open board view lets you pick your colors. You can, but I mean, I'm not going to waste time on that. I am not trying to be an artist here. I just want to fix stuff. If Open Board View were really good software, you know what Open Board View would do? Every time a new board came out, it would connect to Apple's servers and send me a copy of the board view. That's what a good board view software would do. Paul. Okay, let's play the game of find the board that still has that little resistor. So I'm guessing that I've gotten a lot of boards in where idiots have knocked off this resistor. That must be a popular resistor for smooth brains to fuck with. It really does seem like a popular one. How do you feel about the fact that people are paid to put a board in a state like this? I don't know if this is another store. It could have just been somebody's friend's cousin's uncle or whatever the hell. You know. You know that thing where like your family member that you don't really like asks you if you'll help them out with something, so you try to out of guilt, but then since you don't like them, they don't do a good job. Like, it's that kind of thing. I don't think this was a real technician. Or somebody that actually is employed doing this. I would find it difficult to buy that somebody was employed to do this. Alright, of course my perfectly ran jumper wire ran away because I used hot air. We're just going to put that back. Okay, so let's see if we've got any progress. So there are still a bunch of corroded resistors on that side, but since you've replaced the ones that were obviously destroyed, or just ripped off the board, I'm kind of curious if we will get a fan spin at this point. So I'm going to plug this in and see if there is fan spin. Spin, you bastards! Spin! Okay, that just sucks. Alright, so the fan does not spin. So now we're going to have to think. There's going to be some brain usage required here, which is one of my least favorite parts of board repair. My least favorite part of board repair is where I have to use my brains. Using brains sucks. So. Well, let's find the list of power rails. You're on page what, 60 something on the schematic? Yeah, 65. There we go. What happens if the fan is faulty? No, the fan's not faulty. So let's see if the fan's getting power. So the fan is going to get power at PP5VSO, which is going to be on this connector. Let's see, is the 5-volt rail present? We have nothing at the 5-volt SO rail. Alright, is PP bus G3 hot present? PP bus G3 hot, supposed to be 12.6 volts. The schematic says it's 8.6 because the engineer that did this schematic was high. Because he got high. So, PP bus G3 hot. Oh, I unplugged it. Whoops, when I swooped it over the desk. Alright, PP bus G3 hot is, what do you mean OL? Give me a real range. 12.59. PP5VSO, just in case I had it unplugged there, is 0. We know this is there because I got a green light. PPVRTC G3 hot is going to be over here. Somewhere over here. Right? Yeah, this. Do you often run into donor parts that are faulty? Very rarely. It's funny, I actually run into more chips that I purchased that are faulty than chips that come off of donors that are faulty, interestingly enough. Next is PP5VS5, which is going to be somewhere over here from my memory. Somewhere in my memory. I can't sing. PP5VS5 is present. It's really sad that I remember all the points in this board where all the rails are. Usually I pretend that I'm searching for them when I know where they are, just so that you guys know how I find them, but here I'm not even bothering doing that. Alright, PP5ES4 is not. And of course, PP5ES4 is not going to be present because PM Sleep S4L is missing. PM Sleep S4L is missing, most likely because of this garbage. Alright, so let's see. Our R2C signal's present. Hey, Panzer, how are you doing? Last time I saw you was your comment on the Eli video. I also have not seen you in chat for a long time. I got some flux on my gloves and on my mouse, so I'm just going to clean that before I forget later. Was that a solder ball coming from under the coil? Which coil were you which coil? I must have missed something. Alright, we're going to take a look at these RTC signals over here. RTC reset, PCH intervermin, PCH intruder, system RTC reset. Since this is in the cluster where this is not corroded, but it was inside the cluster of corrosion. And they all seem to check out. Yep. Okay, so what's going on up here? What is going on up here? This is going to be the more interesting section for me. So what are you? You're corroded probe point. Oh, we almost forgot about this thing, but so what's that for? You see this? This is no good. Whatever this is over here, whatever that is over there. So before I even get to the corroded sets of resistors. Alright, so PP3V3 sus is supposed to show up on there. And then go someplace. 3.3. 3.3. And then there's this little gold thingy over here. So can we attach the little gold thingy that's not getting the 3.3, this, to this, which is 3.3? So perhaps PP3V3 sus is missing on the other side of the board because of the rip in the line. So see? PP3V3 sus is supposed to be over here. That's a power rail. PP3V3 sus. And then it goes to this probe point, and then it's supposed to go to these capacitors over this capacitor over here. So I'm curious, do I actually get anything on that capacitor over there? Let's see. Where is that little capacitor? So PP3V3 sus is supposed to be here, and then it's going to travel up to here, and it is present there. Kind of curious what the, yeah, where is this supposed to go? Well, I'm going to try to do the impossible here. And I'm going to try to make this into a pad. This is going to be a nightmare. But what are you going to do? So I'm going to grab a little solder blow. Let's try to grab a tiny solder ball. And melt it onto that copper piece. Can I turn you into a probe point? Let's see if that worked. Ooh! Ah, look at that! Alright, that's my way of tinning. Let's see if I can get a smaller ball and... Miles is here, the SMC is bad now. Probably. He always jinxes it. He always jinxes it. That bastard. I don't want to slide into that little probe point. I want to scrape this without sliding into the probe point. It's very important that I don't get the probe point. All right. Let's grab a solder ball. Do you even use the scope anymore? I use my microscope all the time. I'm using it right now. That did not melt the way that I wanted it to. Oscilloscope. Oh. I only bought that for teaching purposes, so that I could show pictures in the of what a buck converter looks like. I didn't buy it to actually fix laptops. There. Okay. What problems this had? The problem it had is it's dead. It's not entering an S4 state. Kind of curious if I could hot air my jumper in. Did you manage to get Streamlabs donations fixed? I think so. It hasn't given me a notification yet for donations that were from like 3 days ago. Before Streamlabs was doing this stupid crap where it was giving me notifications for like 3-day-old donations. But it seems like it's done with that bull. Like okay, can I hot air my jumper? Is this a good idea or a bad idea? I don't want to put pressure on that crappy little junk probe point on the board that's barely in there. Oh, come on, break off, you piece of shit. All right, jump. I'm not touching that. Fuck that. I'm not a hero. I'm not trying to be a hero. All right. It's a 40 gauge wire. Next up is... We ain't even close to done. Dude, what else is gone here? This one? Jesus Christ, there's so many little dots. How do you know which one's which? And they look different. The dots are laid out differently on the board view than they are here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure on a donor. So the dot that I'm most interested in, obviously, is this one. Because there's a clear break in here. Your video about social anxiety is awesome. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Where does this shit go? Almost looks like this board is a different layout because this doesn't look as destroyed. So this is my donor. So I think that's just the probe point for whatever this is. Let's just double check and see if that's the case on my donor. My sister keeps telling me I should visit New York. Beyond what they tell you on tourist sites and such, is it really worth visiting? Not really, in my opinion. You're better off where you are. Alright, so that's just supposed to connect to this. So just in case that actually goes somewhere in the board, I'm just going to wire it there. Just in case. Just in case. You never know. Yeah, I mean, if you like Broadway shows, then come to New York. If you don't like Broadway shows, then why the hell are you going to waste your time here? What, you want to see Chase and Starbucks and Chase and Starbucks and Chase and Starbucks? Is that what you want to see? You can go somewhere else if you want to see Chase and Starbucks and 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 Chase and Starbucks, and you get the point. New York is really just a bunch of Chase and Starbucks. Not as cool as people make it out to be. Can you put a ruler in for scale? I don't have a ruler. And if I did, I don't want to get up and interrupt it to get this at the moment. This is too much. I have to stay in the zone, stay concentrated. This job is a bit of a pain in the ass. And my solder spool just decided to unravel, so... Come on, solder spool. You bastard. What about the burritos? There's only one place that has good burritos. Alright, so from you to that. Just in case that's going somewhere, you never know. Alright, now with all these shitty resistors. Can you put a finger in there for scale? I guess. This is my pinky. You ready for my pinky? That's my pinky's tip. That's the tip of my pinky. This is the smallest blade on my X-Acto knife. This is the tip of a T5 screwdriver. That's the tip of a T5 screwdriver. This is my tweezers. My very tiny HAKKO CHP3SA tweezers. This is my middle finger for giving the middle finger. Okay, so there you have your scale. Okay, so it looks like I am missing a resistor. So I'm just going to get the air up in my hot air station to place the resistor. Okay, now let's see if we have any difference in terms of the whole turning on thing before I go through every other corroded resistor. Okay, so I'm going to plug it in. Now that it's plugged in, we're going to look at our fan. The fan does not appear to spin. Fuck, sir. Are we getting the 5-volt SO rail? Of course we're not. Fuck. Could be solder with rosin core. I honestly don't remember off the top of my head. I got a link somewhere to the solder that I use, but I think it's rosin core. What if the fan is broken? Well, then that's what measuring 5 volts on the rail is for. Alright, so what else do we have here that's corroded? You have a cap for PP3V3 sauce. I don't care because that rail is showing up. Alright, so there's these corroded resistors in here. I'm really putting off going over those because it's just a pain in the ass to remove all that and move it back and forth from board to board. But that is what has to be done. Repeal and replace, baby. Like you. Bye. Repeal and replace with one of a better value. Now, since all these resistors look the same and they're in a very close space with no clear pattern, it's a pain in the ass to go between the donor and this to find them all. It's like, it hurts the brain. Okay, what was that resistor for? That was for some SM bus PCH data line. Alright, that's important. What else is nasty? You're kind of nasty. What do? You nasty, nasty resistor. PM sys reset L. Well, let's see if PM sys reset is... You can go, you corroded piece of shit. Okay, resistor gone. Does Apple tend to use cheap caps? I don't think so. We got this group up here. Jeez, there's so many of them. Let's just take them all off. I'm gonna regret this. So much shit to replace. Any more streams planned with Jason? Nobody here wants to be on camera because they wind up getting like creepy stuff. Like if someone sees them in the street, they smile at them and all that kind of weird shit. Nobody else here has the patience for that. I honestly don't have the patience for it either, but I kind of asked for it by making a channel, so I have to deal with it. But they didn't make a channel, so they don't want to deal with it. All right. Paul Daniels is here. I'm very disappointed that Paul Daniels' software does not automatically check Apple's servers to get you a copy of the latest board view files. Very disappointed in that. This is right under the CPU PCH on a 3476, Paul, where every resistor was corroded. And we've also got some wires over here. So we've got a wire to this pull-up resistor. We had to replace a resistor over here that was ripped. And then you've got this little thing where there's holes in the random sections of the board, and I had to make solder balls and have the solder balls solder to the trace, to the via, and then hot air the wire into the solder ball. No one wants to be known as a local celebrity. Yeah, being a celebrity sucks. So, being rich is cool. But like just random people meeting you on the street, that's just fucking weird. It would be one thing if the random people meeting me on the street were like Bridget Regan, Ruby Lewis, Julia Udine, but it's not. It's not. So I don't. It's not fun. Yeah. I don't know what to say. All right. So I gotta find out where all these damn resistors go. Hey, this is a mess. Slide into place. You could charge for selfies. I usually just say no. There's no amount of money that makes it worth doing that shit anymore. It's just weird. $300 a selfie, let them show their dedication. That's a good idea. That's actually a real... That's not soldered down well, but you'll see when I solder the resistor next to it, the heat will melt that one. You'll see, this is all going to flow into place. I'm going to add some flux before the last one. Take my time with it. Mike says, that size of components is proof that God isn't real. I feel for you truly. Yeah. I think God may be real. He just likes watching micro soldering people suffer. Alright, so I think we've made some progress here. Now we've got one other corroded one down here that I haven't replaced. That I think deserves replacement. I mean repealing first and then replacement. And now I forgot which one I was even looking at. In the amount of time it took for me to get my iron, I forgot the one I'm looking at. And since you know what? I'm never going to fucking find it or remember which one I was even looking at to touch up. We're just going to turn this shit around and see if we get a fan spin. And if we don't, I may just knock it in the ultrasonic cleaner and see if the cleaner fixes this board, because I certainly don't have the patience to spend any more time on it. Yep. F this. That's just dust. Let's see, do we have PMDSW power good? There's a loose cap by the wire. Which cap and which wire? What creates the S4 rail you're missing? PM sleep S4L. This little cap, you mean? That doesn't matter for shit. It's just, this was just left on there. It's not touching anything important. SMC is putting out PMDSW power good. BP3V42 is there. Hey. Hey. Alright, this is one of the ones where I hope and pray that the ultrasonic cleaner fixes it. Because this, otherwise, with any luck, it's just some stray crap sitting under the CPU or some layer of junk. It has some capacitance or inductance on the board. Because otherwise, I got no fucking clue. And so I'm going to remove the heatsink. Great, I just got a huge pile of flux on my glove. Alright, let's get rid of that. Even though you're wearing gloves, you're touching all the stuff that you own with gloves, which means if you touch any of it without gloves, it'll get nasty. So I try to keep track of keeping my hands clean, even if I have my gloves on. Oh, we have Battle of the Geniuses in Twitch chat. Nitrocaster versus Panzerfin. Those are probably the two smartest people that watch my channel. Do you have a car? I don't have a car. I don't drive. Yeah, let me just wash some of this flux off. I don't want to get it all over everything. A true cheapskate washes his gloves rather than replacing them. Wipe off my screwdriver as well. Why would you want a car in New York City? It would only be if you want to impress shallow women. Having a car in New York City sucks. It's really just having a car is just a way to impress. If you wanted to impress shallow women. Or if you live in the suburb. But most of the men that I know that get cars in New York just do it to impress shallow women. I talked about that in my social anxiety video, actually. This one woman that was going to go out with this guy for no other reason other than to get a ride home. Like, that was it. Totally didn't care that he was married and had kids and... okay. So I'm going to just... remember to repeal the J tag. Ah, of course. Almost forgot to repeal the J tag. J tag, it's time to go. Is there a compatible connector for the A1270 with bumps underneath? All I can find are ones without the bumps. If only somebody you watched had a website where they sold such connectors. I buy a JTAG. Are you streaming this on 2 websites? Yep. I'm recording a local copy for me. Alright, so now we put it in the ultrasonic cleaner, which is going to make a lot of loud, angry noises at all of you. And before I toss it in the cleaner, actually, nah, too late. I was going to heat up the flux in the bottom. Okay, into the cleaner you go. Some nice, annoying, screaming ultrasonic noises for you all. Audio fuzz. Yep. That's an ultrasonic cleaner. I can make it slightly less shit by putting on this low pass filter at 6.8 kilohertz. So now you won't hear it as much. So while we're ultrasonicking that one, we can move on to a different one. Yep. Hey, it's me. Hey, it's me. Hey, it's me. A1466 liquid damage. So let's see, are you dead? Oh, come on, I put on the filter. It's not that bad. Okay, it's kind of bad. What do you do? So this was sent in by a store. The store included no problem description because that's what stores do. And it's dead. Alright, so that's self-explanatory enough for me. Let's take out the board and take a look. Ears, yes. I'm here to make your ears bleed. That's what I do. The microscope camera you have, I know you have listed a replacement on your intro, but is the replacement a camera you have used or tested? I'd have to check and see. I don't know if I've used it. No, I don't think I've used that one. I think that somebody who watches my videos bought it and sent me pictures from it, and I said it looks decent enough that I'll throw it in my links. But my microscope camera I used to have in my links, and it's no longer made, so I can't link to it because it's gone. Is that your job? Well, yes and no. So this is my job. Filming it is my side hobby. So, like, YouTube and Twitch are not my job. But the stuff that I am streaming on YouTube and Twitch is my job. So I use YouTube and Twitch to stream my job. Which is one of the interesting things I get when people say, like this, you know, get a real job. Or is YouTube and Twitch are not a job? And one of the reasons I laugh is that I'm literally streaming my job. So, like, I'm just hitting record at work, so which is as job as it gets. Whether it's a good job or a bad job, I'll leave that up to any of you to argue back and forth. You're in New York. I sure am. What state will you move to when you retire? Good question. California. I'm actually looking at Montana now, because it was a mansion that I wanted in Descanso. I wanted to buy in my mid-30s, but I'm actually looking at Montana. There's some really ridiculously nice properties there. Okay, so they fucked up the thingy that allows me to take the battery out easily. Of course, because you're another store. That's what other stores do. Don't go to California. Yeah, the culture. It would be it's not what I would call compatible. Yeah, that's a mess. Don't go to California. California. In a minute, it'll be time to twist that board to the other side and heat it again. Why not go out of the stats? Better bang for your what? Did anybody punch you in the face while you were in California? Nope, I did not get to meet Antifa while I was in California. Although... what's surprising? No Antifa. Had my goggles on, I had my mask on. Living in the middle of nowhere would be depressing. Well, what makes you say that? I live in a city with 4 or 8 million people. I'm not going to say that that's as exciting. Come on, battery. Get out of there, you bastard. Get out of there, you bastard. Okay. Alright, the fact that it was this hard to remove due to it being sticky is indication of what the other side will look like before I even look at it. Oh. Ew. Not my day. Not my day. This channel has way less viewers than the other one. Let's see, how many live viewers do we have at this point? We've got 158 live viewers. Okay, it's not that bad. The other channel was getting 242 to 700 per stream. This one's slightly less. That's one thing, when people say you have to make a separate channel for a rant video versus an Apple rant video versus a philosophy video versus a this or that. Every time you split channels, you lose viewership because people don't travel over. So I really don't do that unless it's absolutely necessary. This is just being done as an experiment. Alright, so first thing to do, let's see if this turns on when it's outside the computer. So we've got a light on the charger, which is as surprising as it gets, and the fan spins when it's outside the computer. So this was most likely being kept from turning on by the keyboard and trackpad. But obviously I can't let it sit like this, so we're just going to reflow some of this section over here. Give the SMC a gentle reflow to get rid of whatever's under it. So far, this entire experiment with the whole editing video, because I want to see if editing the video will satisfy people, has been so far a fail, both in terms of revenue and views. So I said I was going to end the experiment in a month. I'm going to give it about a month and a half. But I was suspicious that doing it would have been a complete waste of time, and so far I'm being proven correct on that. Let's see. Muck says Eli has had success with shorter videos. I would dispute that. His two channels combined for several days have less views than one of mine, and I don't consider mine to be very successful, and I'm doing this as a hobby. Like as a... Come on, you bastard. Okay, SMC, it's time to get it. You gon' get it, SMC? In the surrounding area? Okay, let's turn that board around one more time just because of how nasty it was and how long it was sitting. I'll give this board a little extra ultrasonicing. Now it's standing up. Oh, those traces are not killed. You're being silly. You're being silly, 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 silly. Greetings from Texas. The YouTube decided it wasn't worth notifying about streams even though I elected to get notifications. Did you click on the bell? There's a bell, I think, that you have to click. So subscribing isn't enough. You have to click the bell and say that you want to be notified. I don't think it does that by default. It could be wrong. What the foo you doing? Take a guess. Take a guess. Any guess. I'm being a janitor. I'm cleaning. I think you may have damaged tracks going to the SMC. If by damaging tracks you mean that there's a tiny bit of scraping over the insulation over that perfectly fine copper trace, then yes. But that's perfectly fine, and there's nothing wrong with it. Now, if you're talking about these ones over here, these were fucked from corrosion and will need wires anyway. Those are junk. And those will need little wires. So the SMC has been freed. Junk, 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 junk. Oh my god, so many fucked up traces. A lot of these don't matter, they're just SMC modes. When you reflow, has nasty stuff come out from under the chip? I've never really seen a bunch of nasty stuff. Oh, turn the iron on, idiot. Yeah, that's all broken ass. That's all broken junk. What capture card are you using to connect the HDMI cameras to? I should have a link to that in the description, actually. It's some Magewell. But if you look in my description, there's going to be a bunch of links in the bottom of the description to all the camera equipment that I use. For anybody who's interested in that. I got this because I was tired of using like Blackmagic trash. And Blackmagic is trash. Don't get it twisted. It doesn't even work with any of the fucking microscope cameras I had. It's the only capture device that I've ever used that didn't work with them. And when I called them, they said, "Oh yeah, that's not a that's not a bug. That's that's just because it's only designed for broadcast, not medical." I'm like, what? Who the fuck you think you're fooling with that bullshit? Return. Let me scrape from the side. Yeah, this knife's a little too sharp. I just destroyed those traces. Let me just put that. You go back to the tweezer here. Blackmagic, the Apple of media. Oh God, you're telling me. It's the same shit with Apple. It's like I got an iPhone. I plugged it in. I thought that I could just copy files to it, like because it'll show up as mass stuff. Yeah, it's like, oh, I bought a Blackmagic capture card. I thought that because it's an HDMI capture card that costs more than every other card, I could just plug an HDMI device. Oh, you think just because it's a compatible resolution and frame rate that it'll just work, right? Silly, silly human. Yeah. Blackmagic can blow me. Oh, man. And I love how unapologetic they are about it. It's like, oh yeah, it's supposed to be like that. Get the fuck out of here. My fucking piece of shit $75 Acer monitor will work with an HDMI from any of these microscope cameras. Their fucking $300 and $600 capture cards don't. No, who the I wasn't born yesterday. F that. Man, F that. A fucking Seiki monitor. It's not even Sony. A Seiki will work with that piece. Will work with that microscope camera, and Blackmagic won't. Hell no. I remember the JTAG on a liquid damage A1502. The machine is still not booting. The whole system stays cold and it does charge. Well, welcome to my hell. Welcome to my hell. So scrape, 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 scrape. Scrape, 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 scrape. Scrape, 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 scrape. Oh, you can't see. Why didn't anybody tell me that you couldn't see? Have you ever attempted to salvage broken boards for gold? No. I hope I'm not that broke anytime soon. Once I'm at the point that I'm that broke, then you'll know, because you'll see changes here. But yeah. Scrape, scrape, scrape. How many MacBooks you repair every day? Depends on how many people bring. Some days I get lots of stuff to do, and some days I get nothing to do, and I pay employees to sit on their hands and twiddle their dicks. But most of the time there's stuff to fix, which is good. Scraper, no scraping. What are you, from Dora the Explorer? Swiper, no swiping. I'll swipe if I want to swipe, thank you very much. I will swipe if I want to swipe. Swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping. Now I got that crap stuck in my head. Great. This stuff's probably not even needed. This is for like when Apple programs the SMC, I bet. I don't know why the hell I'm reattaching this. I think it's just because I don't feel like looking it back up on the schematic to remember what it is. That's one pricey capture card. Yep. Well, back when I got it, I planned on doing a lot more stuff where I was using Jason's microscoping camera that I'm not doing now. Realistically speaking, I only needed 2 inputs, not 4. But I got it just for the hell of it. It was stupid. I spent like a month of YouTube revenue at the time on that piece of shit. And considering I already spend half of that on fucking internet, that was probably not the best way to spend money. But I wanted a new toy. Sometimes you just want a new toy. You upgraded your P50 with a touchscreen layer. No, I haven't. The only time I'd use the touchscreen is for schematics, and since I got the 1080p one, I'm never going to use that for schematics. Because 1080p for schematics is kind of painful. Alright, so this is the for the backlight area. That's not going to get away with looking like that. You're looking forward to fireworks? No. July 4th is a pain in the ass. My backlight feedback line doesn't get to burn. Let's just cover that point up before it tries to burn. Let's re-hot PP3V42 area, bro. And re-hot Thunderbolt area, bro. Oh my god, that drop in views is sick. Again, we're going to see. If live streaming to a separate channel, then streaming on the main one, and putting edited on the main one does well, I'll do that. And if it makes the exact same views and money as before, then I'm not. We give it a month. They still got until the end of January. I mean, end of July. Thanks for your TV contract training. Get rid of bloodsuckers. I'm glad someone got use out of that. What 2-port capture card would you get or recommend? I'm after one. So click on the link for the 4-port one that I got, and then buy the 2-port version of what I bought. That's what I got for Jessa 2 years ago for her streaming rig. Alright, let's see if we get anything on the screen. Anything on the screen? Turn on, bastard. Fan is spinning. And it's on, which means on to the next one. Might as well toss this in the ultrasonic cleaner while it's still warm. Drill it? What the? No. It's a working board. Fuck that. I'm gonna collect my money. Let's also see if that retina board is a fan spin after it's been ultrasonically cleaned and gone over. The button on the front of this WHA 900 really sucks. I'm gonna use a new paper towel to remove old crappy thermal paste. All right. Let's toss on the low pass filter. So the ultrasonic is not as painful. And then we move on to the next motherboard. What a lovely noise from the ultrasonic cleaner that is. Take my retina board out and cool it off for a few before we try and turn it on. Sit right here by the air filter. And on to another dead MacBook Air. What TIM do you use? I don't know. I never really keep track. I buy whatever's cheapest on Amazon with Prime. Thank you to Busted Groove. Out of magnets. What? Need a damn magnet. Yoink. Jason will never know it's gone. Are fans still ordering pizza to the store? No. I told them if 4chan orders you pizza and you eat it and you die, that's not on me. Because I warned you. Okay, let's get the board out of here. Hopefully by the time the board's out of here, the ultrasonicing is done, because that noise is starting to grate on my nerves. Let's see. The problem with this is that it looks to be dead. And it looks to have no liquid damage, which sucks. Do you think you'll ever consider creating tutorials for other projects like coding? I would have to know how to code to create tutorials for people on coding. If you want that, ask Paul Daniels. Make Paul create some tutorials. He's the programmer. I can't program for shit. I also lack motivation to learn, though. That's a big part of it. The ugly mic costs a fuck ton. Nah, it's not an ugly mic. It's a little ugly because the wiring broke, so I replaced it with Captain Tape. It's a nice microphone. I like the DPA. Okay, let me flip my board. And hopefully once this is done being flipped, I'll test the other one and then move on to fixing this one. It would be nice if the ultrasonic fixed that board over there that I couldn't. I like when the ultrasonic fixes the stuff that I can't. Paul, why do you hate coding tutorials? Come on. Imagine how many people you could help. The world could be a better place because of you, Paul. Tutorials for coding are painful. Okay, is it the coding tutorials are painful as a user or as the person making them, or both? Just so I can be clear with what you're saying. Is it that you hate making them, that you hate using them, or both? And if it's both, which do you hate more, or is it even? I hate when something fixes itself without any obvious reason. Uncertainty of working in the long run. This tendency in Twitch chat says programmers hate writing documentation. Tutorials are just fancy documentation. Shots fired. Ouch. Alright, so does this turn on when it's taken out of the machine? And also, from what I can see here, without the microscope, this board looks entirely clean, as in no water, humidity, ever. Which means this is going to be a steaming pile of shit, unless there was some issue where a charger is malfunction, knockoff charger was plugged in and blew something up or something like that. Yeah, this is gonna suck. All right. Let's put this aside for the moment. Good code is its own documentation. That's what I keep telling myself as Ashley Beaumont. Okay, time to stop the ultrasonic here. This board has seen enough torture. Let's turn off the low pass thing here. Yoink. Alright, so do you think the fan is going to spin on this retina board now? What do you think? Or do you think it was too far destroyed from whoever ripped off a bunch of resistors? So firstly, let's just take a look at what our first retina board looks like after ultrasonic cleaning. I have faith in this. I really do. It just looks too sexy to not work. This just looks far too sexy to not work. So we have a fan over here. We have a beautiful fan. And we're going to plug the charger in and see if the beautiful fan spins. You piece of shit. That's just me with my finger. So do we have any change in anything? Let's see. We don't even get a quarter spin. That's some dust. That can get the fuck out. Alright, PP5VS4. 0. You're 0. So this is a waste. A cluster and a waste. Let's see, what's this little thingy over here? What are you? A little piece of dirt, dust, solder block? Interesting, now the charger light is going off. This board is a pile of shit. Oh no, we got the green light back. Now it's orange. And what the fuck? Seriously? Hello. Okay, so maybe it was a little solder ball that I left in there. Hey! Nitrocaster loses. Nitrocaster loses the bet. I want a rare Pepe, man. So, now we just have to see if we get image. Ha 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 ha. Nitrocaster loses. Time to be as immature about this as humanly possible. When Nitrocaster loses, I profit. Where was that other error? Ah, I put that over here. Okay, let's see if we get all the good stuff, like a picture on the screen and that, and booting and that good stuff. Using ultrasonic to repair dead board is not fair. Oh, hell no. This is like when I used to play Street Fighter as a kid, and I would use M. Bison, and I would just keep sliding and sliding and knocking him down, and then just doing that laser thing where he just goes across the screen. People go, that's cheating, that's not fair. And my dad used to say, no, it's fair if it's in the game. There's no such thing. Cheating is cheating, but it's not cheating or unfair if it's in the game. And the ultrasonic cleaner is in the game of board repair. So it's totally, it is completely fair. I love it. So let's see if we get a picture. If we get a picture, I'll really get to rub it in Nitrocaster's face. How to kill ads. You realize that Twitch is hosting this for free, right? It's like, I'm not paying Twitch, and I'm pretty sure you're not paying Twitch. And they're hosting a 13.5 megabit per second stream for an hour and 45 minutes for free. You could give them, like, the 5 cents they get from the ad. Just saying. Let me just clean off the DC inboard so this works. This is kind of dirty. It's really dirty, actually. Panzerfin says, this is like modern exorcism to remove bad spirits. Putting dead GPU in the oven is not cheating as well in that case. No, that's cheating because there's you can't offer a warranty on that. This is warranty is in the game. All this stuff has to pass warranty. Also, Yelp is in the game. Have to be able to have some semblance of good reviews for my company. I ain't ever going to be a 5-star, but at the very least I could be a 4-star. Okay, what do we get? Show me a Apple logo, and it's booting. It's booting with an Apple logo, which means that this steaming pile is now fixed. And from that, I hope you learned something. All right, so now we can move on to the next one, which is the air. This air is going to be a cluster because this one does not have. It doesn't have any hints. There's no hints involved at all. I also forgot to stop the recording in the beginning and the end of each video, so editing this is going to be a nightmare. Yeah, we're up to 1 hour and 50 minutes. Oh shit, this is going to suck to edit. Editing is going to suck. Fail. Okay. Let's take a look at this airboard with its beautiful, no messes on it. Okay, it's dusty. Easy solution, don't edit it. I said I was going to put a month in of editing. I said that I was going to give it a full month, and we were going to see after a full month if it was worth it. Because some people like the edited stuff, and, you know, we'll see. But so far the revenue graph is telling me that I'm a complete fucking idiot for bothering with editing video. The revenue and view graph is saying, Lewis, you realize that you're an idiot, right? Just say you realize it. You remember that advice you gave yourself months ago, like if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense? Whatever happened to that? Whatever happened to the Lewis that made sense? Why don't you get an intern to edit your videos? Because they're not going to know what I'm looking for, and even if they do, I'm not going to pay somebody $0. Just because I don't believe in minimum wage does not mean that I'm going to hire somebody for free. Aha! Ahars! There are corrosions. There is corrosion. There are corrosions. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. All right. Repeal, replace, time. So what is that? And why does that matter? Well, let's open up the schematic in the board view for the 820000165 so you can see why this matters. Or if it matters. Does this matter? And since you didn't troubleshoot and haven't found the actual problem with that board, you can't decide whether it's fixed or not, which means your warranty is not backed by anything. Yes, the problem with that board was random corrosion under some shit that I couldn't see. And my ultrasonic cleaner solved the random corrosion under shit I couldn't see, and therefore it is fixed. I do that all the time. So the ultrasonic cleaner and I... The ultrasonic cleaner and I, we tag team the board. It's just like wrestling. It's just like wrestling. And with Trump posting that video of him beating the shit out of CNN when CNN was photoshopped over Vince McMahon's head, you know, wrestling is a really good analogy for this. It's like tag team. You know, the ultrasonic cleaner can't reconnect vias that are broken. It can't put a solder ball on PP3V3 sus. It can't replace a resistor. The same way that I cannot clean every single little piece of microscopic shit I can't see underneath the SMC, underneath the PCH, get rid of this little thing, this little layer of jelly or whatever that's matching the color of the board next to two resistors. It's creating some capacitance between them. It's a tag team. It's like, I give up, tag my partner in, Rikishi beats the crap out of him, then Stone Cold comes in and punches Rikishi, so he tag teams in the other guy. You know, it's back and forth. It's back and forth. That was such a shit post, but man, the reaction to it makes me not feel bad about the shit post. Oh yeah, that was the height of that was the fucking height of the Trump presidency so far. The height of the Trump presidency is him posting the picture of beating the shit out of CNN and watching the reaction. Like, how dare you advocate violence? It's like, you realize when you're saying how dare you advocate violence, wrestling, like that's fake, and it's like it's fake. He's you know hitting a thing in the face that is clearly photoshopped. Very badly. It's not like they photoshopped a CNN person. They photoshopped the letter CNN there. Now, where I live in New York, that little Shakespeare in the Park shit where they're like stabbing him. They're stabbing somebody that looks very much like Trump. That's very real. And the Kathy Griffin thing and the blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, you can't have... Nope. It's either free speech or it's not, motherfucker. All right, so, back to this. Okay, so over here we've got C 1910. This is where this chip is going to create PPV RTC G3 hot, an important power rail for the clock circuit. The clock circuit is over here, PCH clock 32K RTC. That's where a 32 kHz clock is going to go between the PCH, which in here is integrated into the CPU, and several other components. And here we have PPV-RTC G3 hot, which is a power rail, which is going to pull up several different lines. So let's show you what it's going to pull up. It's going to pull up things like PCH intruder, PCH interverment, more importantly, PCH system RTC reset, and RTC reset, which are required for this to turn on. At least I grew up in the Attitude Era. No, at least we got to experience real wrestling. I feel sorry for kids these days. Yeah, those were good times. Like late 90s, early 2000s, good times. I really think Trump timed it at a perfect... He timed it perfectly. Like, days after that tape was released, we had a producer saying that most of the Russia thing was just a bunch of nothing crap. He releases that thing. It was good timing, I would say. Alright, so... let's measure resistance to ground after we remove this cap. Come on, come off the board, bastard. So it appears that pad is almost gone. So let's see if we can revive that here. Yeah, well, that cap was definitely welded on there. It's going to need some scraping. Scrape, 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 scrape. I may be nuts, but I actually kind of prefer the tweezers to the X-Acto for this because they're duller. Instead of paying them, have them pay you for the opportunity to edit your videos. Wait, what does this look like? Vice? Does this look like Vice to you? You're doing it for the exposure. This is not Viceland. I have basic, you know, I'm actually not going to ask people to do shit for nothing. Nothing. I wish I could make the microscope focus change with my mind. That's kind of sloppy. That's sloppy and crappy. Let's make that a little better. So we're done, right? The fan spins. It's clear at this point that PP3V42, that PPVRTCG3 hot was probably shorted to ground due to the corrosion around that bad capacitor that was welded its way onto the board. So we're done, right? Right? Maybe. There's one more thing left to do that I almost forgot. Let's get that done, shall we? Alright, so that's it for today, and as always, I hope that you learned something.